Hello, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to What's Up Missoula, and we've been on the campaign trail. We're interviewing candidates for City Council. There are a lot of candidates this year, 15 candidates for 6 council seats. One of the candidates is in the studio with me. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the election first, and that is that you should expect a mail-in ballot to your ward. The mail ballots should be out by October 24th. If you don't see a ballot by that time, call the elections office, 258-4751. The ballot should be back by November the 8th. You can get them back by mailing it with a first-class stamp, by taking it to the elections office on the second floor of the county courthouse building anytime before November the 8th. There will be an elections headquarters set up at the fairgrounds after October the 11th, and you can bring the ballot to one of 7 schools. I know Lowell and I know Hellgate, and I knew one when Lynn was here because she said so, but I forgot what it was. In any event, questions, call the elections office, 258-4751. Renee Mitchell, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You're most welcome. You've been on the council 4 years.
Well, just about in
Yeah,
January.
By January, it'll be 4 years. And I'm asking everyone the same questions, but I can always ask you like an additional question, a prodding question, a sub-question. Here is the first one. What do you think the most important issue facing the city is for the next 2 years?
Well, in 2 years, a lot can happen.
Well, that's true.
But right now, I think the continued economic downturn is not showing a lot of signs of relief, and not showing a lot of signs of letting up. And because of this, we're seeing business cutbacks, job losses, failed businesses, people losing homes, and there's an uncertainty of what's going to happen, what's on the horizon. And people are reluctant right now the people that have money seem to be reluctant to spend it or to invest it because there are just way too many questions out there.
Right. I mean, they often say that the economy is kind of like a party. If people think the party's not good, then they don't go. But if everyone just started, I don't know if that's true, started expanding their business, started wanting to hire more employees, then like a domino effect, things start to pick up, and it's very psychological. But maybe I would ask you, do you think there's a lot city government can do to encourage jobs, and how would the city government do that?
Well, we know that the mayor has his Missoula Economic Project, and we know one person has a good paying job, the director. Whether or not we can bring in 2,500 jobs that pay 40 grand a year is questionable. And
Is
to
that
go back,
one of the goals of that?
yes, it is. That's my understanding. And to go back earlier, when you say if some people would just begin to spend or invest or hire, maybe that would attract more people to the party. But on the national level, what I'm hearing is with the health care bill in a state of who knows what, there's a lot of reluctance out there.
Okay. And do you think that there are effective steps the city government could take that would create jobs in town?
I think that we could lessen the impact of doing business in town if we would maybe curtail our regulations a little bit. We keep increasing the fees on permits, and I try to vote against that and keep it down. I don't know how a person could start a business right now unless you were really confident, had some good backing, and had a niche. It takes a lot of confidence. My husband was in business, started years ago in an automotive business, and he left a shop and sold his family car and bought 2 cars, one for the family and one to chase parts with.
Right.
And it was tough. There weren't the economic incentives, the tax breaks. We can offer incentives and tax breaks. look what we did with play ball in the ballpark right now. So,
Okay. Here's one. How do you feel you differ from the other candidates or candidate in this race?
I have some notes here, and if it's okay if
You can,
I did make
sure.
some notes. No doubt, most of us in Missoula have a lot in common. We all want Missoula to be a nice place to live, a nice place to work, a nice place for our kids. We like to play, we like to go to school and enjoy what Missoula has to offer. But the differences seem to lie, for me anyway, in the ideology of how are we going to make this happen. And there are splits in that, and it's not just in Missoula, but it's nationwide, and I think people are feeling that pulse everywhere. These are uncertain times.
And your position, as opposed to that of your opponent, would be a greater fiscal conservancy?
Well, you asked me about the difference of the other candidates, and I was just, like I said, we have a lot in common, but when it comes to the other candidates, transparency in government is very important to me, but it doesn't seem not so much to some of the other council members. And before I was ever on council, I was questioning things like, why did we pass a bond for a 50-meter pool and we got all these things and state-of-the-art offices, but we don't have a 50-meter pool? And then there were petitions put in drawers over the Broadway diet. This was before I was on council. And I'm wondering, why are these people protesting and why is this stuff just going into a drawer? And so I started asking questions. I wanted to know. I'm just like any other citizen. And that's how I got interested in this thing in the first place. And transparency is very important to me. And what I found out even before I got on council is if you go down and you're the opposition or you ask questions that seem to not jive with the majority of people, sometimes you get ridiculed and marginalized, and you don't want to go back. And that isn't very conducive to get people to come down and testify. And it certainly doesn't attract good people to run for public office and do public service. So I think the people that would want to be down there but just don't feel like they can go down there are happy to have somebody that's willing to stand up and ask the tough questions and be their voice. And I'm willing to do that. Now, if you want to ask how I differ from my opponent,
Sure.
that's the most important, because I'm only running against one candidate right now. And I think that he claims to be a fiscal conservative, and I claim to be a fiscal conservative. Yet, he's got the mayor's endorsement and the mayor's check for $160 campaign donation, and that's where we start to part ways. My opponent's campaign brochure emphasizes decisive, not divisive. And I think that it's easy to say that you're decisive and not divisive if you're willing to go along to get along. And I also believe that you can be decisive after you learn the issue, you read, you hear what people have to say about it, and you get as many facts as you can, then you make a decision. And to me, that's the way to go. And I am not beholden to anybody. I don't work for special interests. I don't work for the mayor, and I don't work for the city. I work for the people who are willing to elect me.
Okay. Now, if you were elected for your second term, what would your primary goal be for the next year coming up?
I've thought about some of the issues that are pretty important, and I can see right now we had a recent fatal crash on Door Lane and 93, and we've had too many fatalities on that strip of highway over the past years, and I'm willing to see what it takes to get some investigation and something done to make that stretch safer. And that's the thing that looms in my mind right now. But I'm getting great feedback about our trail system in Missoula. We have a great trail system. A lot of people use it. I even use it. What I am also getting feedback in is that this white paint that we're putting down everywhere people don't like it. I don't know if the bicycle riders like it or not, but the people.
You mean the bicycle lane markers?
The lanes and the Charos, and it's just.
And that's the reminder, or Charos, the image of the bicycle?
Yes,
okay.
Like they did have on Higgins, just on the south side of the bridge.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing people say, when did we get so stupid that we can't figure out where to ride our bike and where to drive our cars and how to be nice and be considerate of each other? There's so much that's common sense out there that I don't think white paint is going to make us have common sense. But I think an attitude adjustment, maybe we need to start enforcing the laws a little bit, get a message out there. And I know there's an education brochures, there's an effort to educate people, especially when the university's in session. Well, we have the bike ambassadors, but I understand with the university in session, a lot of the new students come in and they're on bicycles. And they need to be educated on proper and safe traffic procedures while they're bicycling. But, I think we can all get along. Sometimes I think we do overkill in trying to protect people.
Okay. This is a more personal one, but it doesn't have to be. Your personal opportunity. What should people know about you, your experience, your background, and your vision for the city?
Well, I never envisioned myself as being in politics. I mean, in a city office. If you'd asked me 7 or 8 years ago, I would have asked you what you were smoking. If you would have told me I would be in this chair right now.
So you were inspired to office.
So yeah, I started paying attention and saw a niche and a need to fill it and decided to go for it. But I've been in Missoula. I came here in 1966. I attended the university, met my husband, and I was born in Billings. So I get to travel this beautiful state. When I go over there, it's just really a beautiful drive. And I worked in retail. Before I got on with the youth homes, I've been with the youth homes for 25 years. I had a job that I really enjoyed as a home manager, but when I got on council, I didn't believe I could do justice to that job and council. So I resigned from that position, but I do go in on a fill-in basis. I've been involved in sports almost all of my life, before the word Lady Grizz was ever bandied about. It became popular. I played basketball and I played volleyball, but we were the UM Women's Intercollegiate Volleyball Team and the UM Women's Intercollegiate Basketball Team, and nobody heard of a scholarship. It was organized probably more like high school is today, but I sort of feel like a pioneer in that arena, and I'm glad that women have the opportunity to excel in sports and have the challenges and the opportunities that boys and young men have had, and I think that's great.
We've got a few more minutes. I think you've got 2. Everyone's getting 10 minutes. Is there anything you want to add in your last 2 minutes?
As far as Missoula, I haven't gone to some school and figured out what the ideal way is to just put a template over Missoula and say this is the way to go. But I'm willing to listen to people. And we know that some things work and some don't. We know that we've got experts in our public works department and engineering, and they can lead us on how to get stuff on the ground. And I'm always interested in how they can do that, but I'm willing to hear how we can do it, and I'd like to see it done in the most economical way without soaking the taxpayer. We keep changing our mind about how we're going to do a street. We're going to do it this way. We're going to go back and do it that way. Those are big bucks, and we don't have that kind of money. We need to sometimes just maybe not go with the best, but we need to go with what's good enough. We need to know what's good enough and let people have a little bit of money in their pocket to enjoy this beautiful place.
Well, Renee, thank you so much for coming by, giving us 10 minutes, a little glimpse into your candidacy. If you are interested in learning more about Renee's candidacy, there will be a few more candidate forums. I know you don't have a website yet, but you might.
Yes. There is a forum at Meadow Hill School.
Okay.
It'll just be my opponent and me at 7 o'clock, and it will be the League of Women's Voters will sponsor the program, and we have questions that we will both be answering, and then people will be able to ask us questions, which will be kind of fun to talk to my opponent, and we can have a conversation back and forth, because sometimes I feel like when I'm on camera like now, it feels sort of, it's difficult for me sometimes. It feels a little bit canned, but
Right. Okay.
so
And do you
I
know
like
the
the
date
personal.
that's coming up?
Yes, it's this Wednesday, the 21st, I believe
Okay.
that is, 7 o'clock at Meadow Hill.
Very good. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us for this edition of What's Up Missoula. If you know of a group you'd like to see on this program, give us a call at MCAT. The number is 542-6228. For MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. Thanks for watching.